Lacrima, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. And so one of the great things that I think about when I think of Lacrima is that she's from Romania. And when I think about her, I just think of natural Romanian cuisine that she incorporates in all of her meals. And she definitely just involves her children heavily into the process of making it just delicious meals. I haven't tasted it, but I can't. I mean, I always, every time you posted something, I was like, oh, I got to try that. Oh, I got to try that. It just looks so good. So can you just give us a little bit of your background, your passion for where did this come from?
Thank you. And thank you for asking.
Yes.
So, and that's something I want to inspire my kids. Basically, when I was growing up, my mom cooked all the time. She loves to cook, but she also, of course, cooked because she had to, right?
Yeah.
So we grew up in Germany, but I'm originally from Romania. And I learned from an early age that food is super important.
Right.
I mean, my mom basically drilled it into my head.
Yes. She did good.
She did good. But, you know, growing up, you always think, why do I have to eat all this stuff? Why can I not eat some of the junk food too?
Right.
And now I know exactly why. And I'm pretty passionate about showing my children how to cook, but how to eat healthy, basically, and how to make the right choices.
Yes.
So I would say I will give all the credit to my mom by involving me to go grocery shopping with her. We would go to farmers markets together, and then we would often cook together and try everything out.
Nice.
So that's how it all started.
And she absolutely involves all of her children. They do exactly what you're describing in her own home, and she brings that Romanian cuisine. It just looks delicious.
And next time I will bring you something, okay?
Okay, so can you just tell us about what are some basic steps for moms out there who either don't have any children yet, but they're planning it, and also kind of speak to the parents who already have, 13-year-olds, and that's not part of their lives. So what are the first steps that you would tell them just to get involved in the kitchen and bringing that cuisine or just bringing healthy food into the kitchen?
Healthy food, yes. Because I don't expect everybody to be cooking Romanian right away. But just to cook healthy, I would say for the parents who have maybe even like young children, make sure to just give yourself that okay for you to cook yourself the food, because what we find in those baby jars and in those pouches, you can imagine they're not the most healthy for them, but of course it's the next best thing. So try to involve yourself in the kitchen from an early stage, because the children basically will learn that kind of palate really early on.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah. So when my kids were young, I would make a lot of soups, for example. I'd make the soup and then I would blend it up, and that would be the puree, right? Rather than getting the jarred purees.
Right.
When it comes to, finger food, when they were starting to sit on that, I can't remember what it's called, when they sit down on those little things.
Little bumbo.
Yes. I would give them peas. Peas are such good protein sources. Yeah. They would eat that like all day long. Between peas and blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, they basically ate all their fruits and vegetables really easily from an early age.
Yeah.
And then when they were getting older, I would say the one tip I would give all parents is to know it's okay to be messy. I know some people like to have everything clean all the time and sanitized and all that, but kids love to play with food in the beginning.
You're right.
And be involved in the grocery shopping too. So when my kids were younger, I would take them grocery shopping with me. A lot of my friends, sometimes they would say, oh, I'm too tired. I will leave my kids home and I'll take them grocery shopping, because, they start.
That's where it starts. The meal starts. You need to take them to the grocery store, because it starts the process. They become aware of what they're buying, and then that is going to be home and cut up and then cooked.
Yes. So let's just pretend though we didn't do that. And the kids are now, like you said, maybe in their teenage years or whatever, even 10 years old or so.
Right.
It's not too late. So let's begin thinking, okay, how can I bring more healthy food into my kitchen, and how can I have my kids be more adventurous, right?
Yes.
I would say the first step that I do is I ask them to look in my recipe books together, or go online and find the recipes that look appealing to them.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we make a grocery list together.
Okay.
My kids are old enough now where they know how to write and help me with that. So they each make the grocery list. Of course, they'll put in some junk in there, right?
Right.
Like Takis, all the different colored Takis and all these different colored popsicles. My philosophy is basically to have a 80-20 rule. 80% of all the grocery items should be healthy, and then the other 20% or 10 to 20% can be somewhat not so healthy. Okay.
Yeah.
So now I involve them in a recipe, kind of looking them up, or recipe creation. We do the grocery list together, and now we go grocery shopping together.
Yeah.
And when they go grocery shopping, they actually try the food. I mean, not try it. Mine actually do try it sometimes. But they touch it, they smell it, they see the difference between things in season and things that are not in season. Even here, we actually have seasonality, even though we can find everything in the grocery store.
Right.
And then we come home and unpack and wash them and cut them and peel them and get ready for our cooking together.
Right. I love that. That's similar to what I had with my children too. As I said, everybody gets to go into the cookbook, pick out your favorite recipe, just go by the illustrations. Oh, I like the way this one looks.
Yes.
Well, then you know what? Let's look at the ingredients, and then we're gonna all help. Let's say it's Holly, my daughter. She chooses raviolis or something like that, and then we can figure out a side dish, and that will just get them started. Even if your teen is not used to it, it's always good just to say, you know what, let's try something new and experiment. And those little things, they'll remember them, especially when they're in their teens.
Yes.
And they get heavily involved in, let me show you how to cut it. And, we got to prepare it and wash it and things like that. And then it's cooked, and then you serve it and eat it. It's like, wow, I actually made this. This is really good.
Yes.
And now I know how to do it. It wasn't that hard.
Yeah.
So those are awesome ideas and tips. So would you like to give me an example of your family's favorites?
Okay. It evolves, I would say, almost every year, because I remember when, for example, my oldest, who's now 13, when he was young, I would call him a raw vegan. He loved fruits and vegetables just raw, which is amazing. I mean, there's a whole, diet around that.
Right.
So basically anything like cucumbers, peppers, tomatoes, any kind of vegetable, he would just, cut up and eat it raw. He would not eat any meat for a long time. And now that he's into sports, he eats steak every night.
And is it because he knows that he needs the protein?
Your body knows.
Oh,
your body
so
knows.
He just feels like a craving for it.
A craving. And I would say that is a big thing that I wanted to mention, that intuitive eating is my philosophy. I'm not too much into diets, even though I mostly cook Mediterranean diet. I would say I often ask myself, like, what do I feel like eating? And once you eat healthy, your body usually is asking for healthy stuff.
That is so cool.
If you eat unhealthy, then they'll ask for more unhealthy, because your body is needing the things that it's, missing, basically.
You're right. The deficiencies.
Yeah. So at this point, I would say that, let's just say my son, he does need his protein from meat for now. I mean, we can argue about that, but so the way it looks in our household, a lot of times our meal prepping would be on a Sunday afternoon. We went grocery shopping probably in the morning or the day before, and then we grill a lot of times our protein. So a lot of times it would be grass-fed beef, free-range chicken, wild-caught salmon. And, I'm pointing those out like that because it is healthier to go grass-fed and all that.
Yeah.
So we would grill all the meats, and then we would grill a lot of vegetables like zucchini, squash, corn, things like that. I always have things for a salad too. So then I have my salad ingredients, I have my vegetables, I have my protein, and then we just need to decide if we want to have a carbohydrate of some sort, right? And a lot of times we eat basmati rice or potatoes.
We like those too.
Yeah. And then, so we have everything cooked like that in batches almost. And I like to often have dinner kind of buffet style.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. So it's all on the table, you know, not everything that, because it's a big quantity, but a little bit of the meats, and then, you know, your salads and everything. And then you lay it all out. Even when it comes to dressing, we make our own vinaigrette usually. And the kids already know how to make that with olive oil. We use fresh herbs, olive oil, and just lemon, basically. I make our vinaigrette, and that's it. Yeah. And I mean, we have a lot of leftovers from that, and basically the whole week you can make
You're just
meals
feasting
out of that.
out of all.
Yeah.
I like that she said the buffet style, because as your palate changes and you get older and you try new things and you're like, oh, I don't feel like that anymore. But I don't like fish, but I do like shrimp. And so then, you know, like you just said, you have shrimp, and some people want salmon or whatever. And then there's the carbohydrates. If all of those food groups are, you know, present, you will try different things. And then some things you may not have liked before, you end up saying, oh, I love this now.
Yeah. And then if I have enough leftover, I mean, the kids can take it to school too. I don't have to like meal prep again for school lunches. You know, they just, everything is already done on the weekend.
Genius. Well, I hope this helps everybody in their own home with their tips, and just inspiring your children to be involved in cooking, and then just sharing your love for vegetables and those ground roots, and your soups and your Romanian cuisine. So it looks like she's got a book that she wants to share today. Can you tell me about this book?
Yeah. I was wondering, you know, I have so many books at home, and I was trying to figure out which one should I bring. Mediterranean Cookbook is one of many that I have at home, because I love cookbooks. But what I like about this particular cookbook is it has really nice, you know, big pictures.
Yes.
And the kids can go through the cookbook.
Look at that. When the kids see these pictures, they get so inspired. Yeah,
so they can help me decide, because I mean, at some point we run out of ideas what to feed our
fast
family.
And easy.
So yeah, this is one of them. And like you mentioned, we eat a lot of Romanian cuisine too, which includes a lot of soups and stews. And those are super good for us adults, but also for the children. So many grounding vegetables inside, and then the broth itself is already full of minerals and goodness. So I encourage everybody to try to find their favorite soup and integrate that more into their diet.
Absolutely. And if you have friends who are from different countries and they are into food, I would, you know, encourage you to try some of their food. So I'm going to have some Romanian soup. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And if you want to look her up, she actually has a website that she started a while back. It's called Lacrima's Kitchen. Is that correct?
That's right.
Okay. And then you can find that on Instagram, and I will put the name with that link so you can see it online. And I will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.